vibrant. The best is yet to come. So the best of your life is before you.
I do believe that. Michelle and Clay, you guys know this. It's not a secret, and I'm assuming most of your listeners are aware that I'm a man of faith. That's not been a secret, and but what many people don't know is that my career has not been one that I have mapped out and planned out. It has been a career driven by faith. God has led me from faith to faith to faith in this career journey of mine. And we celebrated, and I was so thankful. We had 700 people come to the Muhammad Ali Center to celebrate me moving into that position. And that was probably one of the most humbling experiences for me. I say that because you just never know how people will respond. And so when people saw that there was an invitation to come say, to be a part of a celebration for me, that meant the world to me. And so I don't want people to think that I'm making a transition in my career in a light way. Like, these are critical decisions that have been weighing on me for a while. And I'll just tell you all that at the Ali Center, we were able to do some incredible work. My last day there will be next Friday, October the 24th. But I'm so incredibly proud of the work that we were able to do there while I was there. We launched some significant initiatives that took the Muhammad Ali Center national and
international.
And I suspect before the year is over, those global initiatives that we have started building will come to fruition. And so I'm incredibly proud of that, and incredibly supportive of the Muhammad Ali Center. I will tell you that even though I'm stepping away, my wife and I have had conversations about how we are committed to ensuring that the Muhammad Ali Center is built into our annual budget. We want to support it, not just verbally, but we want to write a check. Sometimes that's the best way you can show support to an organization. And so I just want to be clear that there's nothing but love in my heart for the Muhammad Ali Center, and I'm convinced that under Lonnie Ali's leadership and the leadership of the board, that institution will continue to grow and thrive. They're about to enter their 20th year anniversary, and I believe the best is yet to come for the Muhammad Ali.
Well, that's the real value of institutions. They survive individually.
Exactly.
They're bigger than one institution.
Exactly.
They are perennial, benchmarks, havens, institutions that keep the culture, the mission alive, and it's bigger than one person.
That's right.
So, and that's why when Muhammad Ali passed away, they built an institution around his name, but the Ali Center is even bigger than Ali.
Yeah, I mean, the work is mission work at the Muhammad Ali Center, and the museum is designed to help people recognize, honor, and celebrate his legacy.
And then you mentioned museums. In this era when museums are being attacked and being erased, depleted, and deleted, then none of what's going on could affect what's going on at the...
No, none of that has touched the Muhammad Ali Center, and I think for a number of reasons, but I think primarily he is a global and treasured icon, and people respect what he was, what he represented, what he did, who he still continues to inspire. And so, again, for that reason, I suspect that the Muhammad Ali Center will continue to grow, will continue to thrive, and I'm celebrating and cheering for them and have nothing but the best in my heart for the Muhammad Ali.
Well, I tell you what, Devon, go ahead. You got something to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, so we are definitely in a love fest about the Muhammad Ali Center and what it's meant and what it's a part of for this community. So I'm going to ask you the question. Everybody out there, they poking me, they sending me a message. Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving?
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that because we got some news to get into.
Okay.
And we're going to let him muse over that. And we'll come back to that at the bottom of the show.
That was some foreshadowing.
Just unpack that in the way that he feels is appropriate.
All right.
All right? So we're going to get into the news right now, okay?
Either they don't know, don't show. I don't care about what's going on in the hood.
Now that intro was created by none other than Devon.
It's
He's
that
also
time on the Saturday Morning Solutions when we discuss the news of the week that slipped through the cracks.
Just because
it's black.
Oh, that's it. So those words still live on to this day. That peace is an institution all by itself.
I love
That's
it.
right. That's right.
People love that. So today is no different. We got some news that we need to share.
In the news, we got Ed Harness. You all campaign has worked. We were out there as a community saying our Inspector General for our city, the one and only Ed Harness. We believe in him as a community. We like how he has moved in terms of accountability for the LMPD and making sure that the things that he investigates is not only known to LMPD, but also known to the community. To see someone in a role that holds the police accountable, does it in a respectful way, also does it as a former police officer, a lawyer, and someone who has provided oversight for years throughout this country. So we advocated for, brought him on the show, talked about it. And this week there was an announcement from the mayor that he would be renewing the contract and extending Ed Harness's time here in the city. So congratulations to him.
Isn't that something? There was news this week of one black man leaving a job and another black man keeping his job.
It's just a two-edged sword. But
First one hired, last one.
But it was all good though, and I commend. Even we acknowledged that David James took another assignment. He was a new sheriff in town.
That's right.
David James. So, but he was an advocate for this position when he was on the Metro Board.
So was Paula McCraney.
Paul McCraney,
was on here.
Was a part of the advocating for this position, and it proved to be very, very important because in this time when police department activity conduct is under question, okay, and it just gives more comfort to know that someone is watching them. And I've often said in my profession as a project manager, people don't do what's expected of them; they do what's inspected of them. So if you cannot inspect someone's behavior, conduct, then you cannot hope to get justice and right. That's why this current political climate in the national arena is so suspect, because he has moved all of the watchdogs throughout every branch of government. So can't nobody watch what he's doing.
Right.
But yet still in this city, we still have an inspector general. That's very rare. Not many cities have an inspector general.
Well, but I can appreciate what he's done as an inspector general, not just to do his job and oversee or watch over the police department. I've been thoroughly impressed with his very intentional approach to connect with community. He's not done his job in isolation. He's built relationships with the community. And if I'm honest with you, I think that probably had something to do with why he's still in his role.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone in the community I know was advocating for Ed Harness, but because he was in the community from the beginning. And I think it's a lesson for all leaders.
Yes.
You know, it's not
Michelle.
just about being in a place and having a background and talking about this is what I've done, but instead it is being integrated into the community, being at the meetings, listening, and not just coming, listening, or being able to say a few words and then leaving, but coming, listening, sitting down, staying, engaging. Yeah, all those things count. So that's a good thing, and welcome back and stay with us to Ed Harness. We're glad about that.
Well, that's local news, of course. Any local story you want to bring?
No, but you know you got to talk about them Young Republic.
Yeah, you can give them rats one more. You can talk about it. I'll let you.
Yeah, well, they're not young for the first thing. Let's talk about that.
They always want to make the boys will be boys to minimize the impact of rotten behavior.
Explain to the people what you're referencing.
Okay. Absolutely. So this week, the Young Republicans out of the state of Kansas, I believe is a group, Young Republican National Federation, several members of it, and they're age 19 all the way up to age 41, conversing and having networking, if you will, with Republicans all throughout the country. And on this past week, we got word that their group chat, just like you and I have group chats with our families, was leaked. And a side note here, they have already went after the guy who leaked the information instead of what was leaked. But within those comments, just the most vile, anti-Semitic, racist information that could ever be said about people. I won't repeat it to give it any kind of newsworthiness. I would just ask that you go and research for yourself, so that it's not much different than when we talked about Charlie Kirk, knowing for yourself what they said, getting that out there so that you won't be bamboozled and gaslighted to think that these were young people. They were not.
They were not. And Michelle, I think it's important to understand what they said so you can put in context and understand how despicable the words of J.D. Vance, our vice president, was in response to what they did, trying to minimalize it by suggesting that these were jokes of young boys who were in almost like a fraternity conversation, a frat house conversation.
Well, you mentioned a word that we use to describe it, so we're going to get Daffy Duck to kind of help us describe. We don't even utter his name. We let Daffy Duck describe who he is.
That's right.
And that summarizes the whole theme.
But we have to understand what the attempt is, though, is to try to make us to desensitize us to this type of attack that we continue to see and experience, where many people have assumed that these types of beliefs and conversations have
credible.
Faded.
Or they're in the dark corners of the world, and they're not.
They are not.
They're
not at all.
I was going to say just below the surface, but at some point,
above.
I think,
and let me say too, as a principal, one of the things that used to happen quite a bit is, and I won't say quite a bit, but it happened enough that I can speak to it this morning. Sometimes kids would say, they'd get angry and they'd say, "I'm gonna kill you," and we'd bring in the parent, and the parent would say, "That was just kids. He don't really mean it." And I say, "Ma'am, I'm gonna kill you is not normal. Right. It isn't, something that you just say." And every time somebody says that, we need to do our due diligence and find out what makes them say that. This group, Devon, as you were speaking to, I love Hitler. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch a monkey play ball, talking about black folk. And here's the other thing. This wasn't just boys will be boys. There were some women, young Republican women. So we want you to know that too, out there that are listening. This was not just some men, but these are some women too, and speaks to a conversation that keeps coming back this week, and that is the radicalization of young white men in our country. And this is an example of the things that they are hearing repeatedly and the voices that are going on in their head, and why they do some of the dastardly things they do.
Charlie Kirk has become such an icon among the movement. Okay, in fact, they actually have a billboard. Ricky Jones posted they got a billboard out by U of L.
I saw that online this morning.
For him, big, huge billboard lifting up Charlie Kirk, and he said, "Prove me wrong." So you have billboards of someone who's the likes. He's a political paperweight, but he's having a lot of heavy impact on the movement, and this is the demographic that he is representing and calling to bear on the movement that they have championed. So it's here. It's there. You see it. You used to call them skinheads. You used to call them various other names. But it's all a part of the same racist, vile, white supremacist thug movement.
Well, but let's be clear. I think the thing that makes this even more concerning for me is that these were just not some fraternity boys. These are leaders of the Republican Party. These are young leaders of the Republican Party. They found a home
in the Republican Party.
And Vice Chair of the New York State Young Republicans is a part of the group. Chairs all over this country of Young Republicans and federations.
Right. So it's real. I was on the Moore side. I'm just divorced for a minute. Moore side this past week. It was a very strange show, I might add, this week. We talked about the ceasefire, but it became naturally political because of the ceasefire conversation. And then what's amazing was the kind of conversation some of the commentators were making on the panel, okay? Saying that we over-politicize things. You cannot escape politics now.
Right.
You can't go to
even
the
if you don't go
bathroom.
to if you don't go to vote,
You
can't
can't go
escape
to the
politics.
bathroom. And for Christians, we know that the cross, nothing is more political than the cross of Jesus Christ.
Right.
That is a government cross, and the government policy crucified him.
Yeah.
So being a Christian, you could not ignore the reality of politics on life and death. So to say it's too political, well, to ignore that it's political is to be a part of the problem. And we say on this show, if you're not a part of the solution, you are a part of the problem.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and we've got a lot to
real.
talk about in that because it's just getting to the point. Coming into the studio, I was listening, and there was a conversation being held about how we escape this. That it's not going to. We're not moving in a way that is a kumbaya approach.
No.
We need, decisive leadership that speaks to the issue because we truly have a divided country right now.
Well, we do, and I believe, there are moments where there are really necessary efforts to build bridges. But if somebody's punching you in the face, that's not the time to sing Kumbaya.
Right.
It's the time to, at the very least, protect
Well, that's
yourself.
time to say, get the funk out of my face
Yeah.
and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And see, and we have voices out there. The Jasmine Crockett's of the world, they're doing the best they can getting our voices out there. We need more voices to speak truth to power, And it's a funny thing about truth, like Dr. King said, truth crushed to the ground will rise again. A lie can't live forever.
Right.
So
You've been lying on the truth.
You've been, like that song we played, you've been lying on the truth. So we who stand on the truth, we need to stand on the truth. Stand on business, as Sister Michelle says. And what I do, I often refer to Amos's plumb line in the Bible. He has a plumb line. The plumb line is the line that is connected to heaven, the way to the bottom, that gives you a true measure of whatever you're trying to evaluate. So I don't follow, we are called to be Amos's plumb line and not follow a party line. And knowing the difference makes all the difference in the world.
It does. Being prepared, knowing what to stand for, right?
You got to stand for something.
Yeah.
Be anchored in something real, something true. Regardless of how the wind blows, you got to stand on something.
And that's it. It's not being swayed by the people around you. It's knowing what you believe and having the conviction to stand on that regardless if people are not walking in the same direction you are.
Well, having said that, we're going to pivot back to you, Devon.
And the listeners want to know.
You can call in 776-1350, 776-1350.
And the listeners,
Call
so
in and talk to Devon Holt. What's his next move? One thing I know for sure. Clearly, there was a Popeye moment for you.
I've had all I can stand, and I can't stand no more.
But you were standing on something that made you take that stand.
Yeah.
Now, some of it you can share, some you can't share, but clearly something became a catalyst for you to make that particular stand.
Well, let me just say, I listen to you all every Saturday, and the issues that you all talk about here and the issues that many of us talk about around the city, around the state, around this nation of ours, are the same issues that have been resting in my heart. And the alarm is sounding. Like,
seriously,
we are at crisis status right now. And you sit and you watch this dumpster fire progress, and you continue to say to yourself, like I have, somebody's going to come along and do something about this. Somebody, I saw that. Yeah, somebody's going to come along. Somebody, and eventually, Michelle, there was nobody to come along.
Right.
And you start to ask yourself the question, okay, well, if there's no one coming along, then what can I do? And I will tell you, watching what's happening in our country has compelled me. And that's a word I use very intentionally. I am compelled, not because I am after something, but because I feel moved to use the resources, the access, the knowledge, the experience, and everything else that God has given me to try to move us in a healthier direction. And I will tell you, I haven't officially decided what that is, but here's what I can say.
Come on, turn your radios up.
Here's what I can say very distinctly, is that my wife and I are meeting and spending time with some incredibly smart advisors, trusted advisors, both locally and nationally, who are helping me think through what the best platform is for Devon Holt to make an impact on this country.
And it's important that you're consulting. The Bible says, by many counselors we're saved. And you're seeking wise, godly counsel.
Yes.
Okay, that's important.
Yes.
Nobody has all the answers.
No.
Okay.
That's
so
why you have a kitchen cabinet.
And you're walking and the counsel to receive. And also God is the ultimate counselor that evaluates all of it and gives you the final call, which step you need to make next. One thing I say all the time, that God guarantees 2 steps. He always guarantees your next step and your last step. That's 2 guaranteed steps.
That's it.
Okay, you know the step you're gonna take. Like when they walked across the River Jordan, he told the priest to step into the water.
Just take a step.
Step by step. So he guarantees your next step and your last step, knowing that your last step is going to be where God wants you to be.
Right.
So with that assurance, you don't have to worry about all the steps in between.
Well, I trust God, and so I tell people, I'm the Black Forrest Gump.
Okay, you are.
And Michelle, what I mean by that is not intellectually. I mean, if you follow Forrest Gump's journey as a character, he went from one amazing life experience to another, and that's what my career has been like. And it's not been because Devon Holt has said this is the journey I want to take. It's because I was compelled, and I moved where God had me move, and the results were bigger than anything I could have done on my own. And this is yet another step in that journey for me to figure out what that is and what that looks like. Michelle, I will tell you the beautiful thing in all of this is that having not even officially decided what I'm doing next, the response from this community and from people around the country who said, Devon, we are with you, has been overwhelming. It's been beautiful to know that I've built a career and I've built credibility in this space and in the work that I've done over the last 3 decades, that people trust that what I plan to do next will be done in the best interest of our community. And I can tell you that that is indeed my intention, but I am so incredibly grateful that people have enough confidence, trust in me to know that that's the truth.
Let me just connect a few dots for the benefit of our listeners. Now, Devon is extremely humble. And God chooses very humble things to do great things. Big doors swing on small hinges. And this platform, the Saturday Morning Solution Show, when Dr. Cosby asked us to take this show over, it was Devon, myself, and Gail. We didn't know nothing about no radio.
Not a thing.
We were building the plane as we were flying. Fix that wing. Fix that wing over there. Let the wheel down. So we were building the plane as we were flying. So, but that platform was built into something quite important.
Yeah.
We didn't realize it would become as important as it has become. Okay, it became an institution all by itself. And in your career, we had this radio show platform. And then what year was that? We invited the superintendent here, Berman. Was it Berman?
Dr. Berman.
Okay.
That was 2008.
Okay. We were early on in our show. So we had him as a guest on this broadcast.
That's right.
And you were currently then working for GLI?
No, I started my own consulting firm.
Okay. So you invited him to come on the show. We invited him on the show. And he wanted you to show him around town and take him around.
Yeah.
He was so impressed with the then Devon Holt. He said, I want to hire this man on the spot. Okay? And you were jettisoned over to the Jefferson County Public School headquarters as his special assistant.
I was,
And so this radio
That's
broadcast.
where I met Michelle Penix.
Michelle Penix. So it is kind of how these dots get connected.
Yeah.
And God opens doors
God is always.
to do what God wants to do. That's why you can't. I know too much about it. Right? You can't make me doubt it. And God can orchestrate and order your steps in a way to get you where you need to go.
Now let me ask you a question, Devon, because one of the words you use to describe your journey has been compelled. And I also know that there's another term or concept that's often used to describe leadership about the reluctant leader, someone who is called to the work but necessarily didn't want to go that way. Describe where you are now, and do you feel like it's more of being a reluctant leader? Are you more compelled to move in different directions to help a larger group, or
Well,
how would you describe?
I feel motivated. I feel like a boxer ready to get into the ring. Like the work that I've done over the course of my career and through my life, Michelle, I didn't realize it, but I feel like it was preparing me to get into whatever ring I'm about to get into. I feel like all the work that I've done, 10 years in economic development, 4 years working at the highest levels of JCPS, all that work, workforce development, being exposed to leaders and influencers from around the globe at the Muhammad Ali Center. God doesn't put you in those positions for you to sit comfortably and look in the mirror and say that I've done well for me. My career has been always moved by the sense that I have the opportunity to do good for other people. I will tell you, Michelle, literally once in my life, I came back to Louisville. I graduated from Eastern Kentucky University in '95. Started working at the University of Kentucky in their PR department from '95 to '98, and UPS Airlines here in Louisville made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and it brought me back to Louisville in 1998. And I started working there, and I had, after a few years, an internet startup. That was in the early stages of the internet. And this internet startup that was co-founded by Paul Allen, the co-founder of Microsoft, and had some other investors, some local investors who wanted to try to take advantage of this internet boom. They reached out to me and said, Devon, we want you to lead our external affairs, communications, government relations, all of that stuff. And Michelle, I was still in my 20s. And they came to me with a six-figure salary, with a budget that was just something I had never seen. And I said, yes. I said, yes. And Michelle, I took that job. 3 months into that job, I was absolutely miserable. I was miserable because I took it just because of the money. And I was so glad I learned that lesson early on in my life. That company eventually grew too fast, believe it or not, and grew itself out of business. And after I laid off my staff, who I recruited to come there and work for me, my boss called me into his office. And I knew what it was. The company was falling apart, and he was about to tell me that my job was being eliminated. And I will tell you, you had never on that day met somebody so happy to lose a job. Never. Because I knew I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I knew God was calling me to do something different. And so when they said, Devon, this is the end, I knew it was the beginning.
Right.
And so I pivoted, and from that point on, Michelle, every single job I've had has been a job designed to help make people's lives better.
Right.
Every single job. And some of those jobs have required me to take a pay cut. And I've done that, fortunately, knowing that God was going to take care of me. And he always has. Always has. I've never missed a meal. And I've never missed a bill. He's provided for me throughout that journey. And so I continue on that path, knowing that the best in Devon Holt is when I am in position to serve my people. And that's what I'm after right now.
Well, it's kind of there's a difference. There's a couple of categories of people. You have people that go to job for a job, and people that go to a job for a career. But a step beyond the career is a calling.
Purpose.
Purpose. Purpose driven. You are purpose driven. So your purpose never changes. Wherever job you land on, whether you're up, down, in between, that purpose is consistent and constant.
Now, but that's difficult for people who don't move like that.
Right.
People don't, like my grandfather would say, boy, you gonna leave that good job?
You
gonna leave that good job?
Make sure you got another one.
And understandably, because they came up in an era where you didn't have those opportunities.
Exactly.
But when God calls you, it's like what Jeremiah said. It's like fire shut up in your bones.
And that's what it is.
And you can't escape it. It's a fuel to keep burning. You can't get no rest until you do what God has called you to do.
And the time that we are in now is the stakes are too high, Michelle. The stakes are too high for us to have people representing us who do not have our best interest. And I'm looking for the place to make sure that we are properly represented and that we find ourselves in a position to fight back against what we see happening around this country. And what I tell my family is that, look, ain't no guarantee I'm gonna beat up the bully, but he gonna have to fight me every time he sees me.
You got right.
Every
ain't
time
gonna be
he
no easy
sees
win,
me.
Cletus. Right.
Every time he sees me, he's gonna have to fight me.
Right, gonna have to fight you. Now, we have maybe some callers calling in 776-1350. They may want to join those comments and talk to Mr. Devon while he is on Saturday morning. We're gonna keep coming. So she's got so much free time now. You're gonna ask your wife or call your personal secretary to see when you're available to come back on the show.
And she said he's looking for a job.
But the calling is constant and consistent. And you who you are, wherever you are, as long as you're doing God's will. That's what King said. I just want to do God's will.
That's it. That's it.
And that's the question. I just want to do God's will for my life at this particular point in time. That's all you can ask for.
And I'm not asking people to understand it, because some people just won't understand it. I'm asking you to support it. There's a difference. I'm not crazy. I have not lost my mind. There's no scandal. There's a man who is compelled, who's motivated, who's inspired, who can't rest at night because I know there's something more I need to do to be part of the solution.
And let me say two things. One, Devon, you started talking about you've reached a point of your own maturity where you don't have to answer to the critics. But I think that's a lesson that I wanted just to emphasize for a moment, because I saw it when you left Goodwill, and again with the Ali Center, that the naysayers come out, people who are not aware, because God didn't give them the vision. God didn't give them the call. They don't know what to follow. But the other thing about you, Devon, and this is something that I share with anyone I come in contact with about the character of a man, is your relationship with your son.
That's my boy.
It is. And as a result, he's become, Louisville's boy. Everybody who keeps up with you keeps up with your son as well. And I'm just wondering about your conversations with him about this new journey that you are investigating, how he looks at it, and someone who knows you probably better than anybody.
Yeah. Michelle, I love that question, because my son is literally my favorite person in the world. Like, I love that dude so much, and he has such incredible potential, and he's working to fulfill it. I think I told you all this summer he had an invitation to go to Columbia University in New York City as a junior.
And that's why you were not able to come to the Rockman Ali's funeral?
Exactly.
Right, you was up for that.
I was in New York with my son. He was too young to stay on campus by himself, so he spent a week there studying at an Ivy League school. And but
the same school that
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
Miss Wilson used to call Barack Obama. The same school Barack Obama.
But he's maturing, and he's got a wisdom about him, even as a 16-year-old, that I appreciate. And I don't try to dismiss him because of his age. I involve him in these conversations because I want him to get prepared to understand and know how to think when he finds himself in similar positions as he ages. And I asked him, I remember, Michelle, I asked him when I was considering leaving Goodwill and looking at this opportunity at the Muhammad Ali Center, I said, son, what do you think about me becoming the CEO of the Muhammad Ali Center? He said, well, Dad, CEO means you're going to have to, there's a lot of work you're going to have to do. he said you're going to have to carry a load and know that that's not as simple as a task as maybe the role that you're in now. But he had those kind of insights. And so now we're having a conversation, and he's paying attention to what's happening in the world around us and recognizes that his dad, he watches me watch the news. And he sees that and knows that I have this urge, this desire to do something about this madness that we are experiencing. And he knows that that his dad won't be satisfied until he finds himself in a position where he can do that work. And so he's giving me his thumbs up, not knowing exactly what that is, but I know he'll be by his
And have
side.
you told him or anyone else a date when we could expect some sort of announcement?
Well, so my intent is not to drag out some sort of decision to take forever. Again, and I say this with all sincerity. I'm talking to some wise advisors and counselors who are helping me think through this. And the expectation is that we probably have another 2 or 3 weeks to vet some things and get clear about what feels like the best direction for me and what I want to accomplish. And so I suspect sometime in November I'll have something
Well,
to share.
and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot. I hope, like we today, hope you break the news on the Saturday Morning Solution. Okay?
Okay.
Break the news on the Saturday Morning Solution Show. Give us the news. We got Ryan down. Time is winding up here. So, but we got a lot of more, don't we?
Got a lot of more.
We got a lot of more, and we're so glad to have Devon Holt and to come in and share with us with the Saturday Morning Solution Show. A lot happening. It's the anniversary of the Million Man March going on. Devon with D'Angelo passing. We'll close out on a song that many people don't realize that D'Angelo wrote called "You Will Know." It was a song that was on Jason's lyric. He wrote that song.
A black male chorus.
Black male chorus, and we close out on that song for the day's broadcast. And we're so thankful to have Devon on the show. Michelle, there's so many. This is good stuff. Just applause.
Good stuff.
Devon
Good
Holt,
stuff.
We close out today on the Saturday Morning Solution Show. We'll
Good
see you next
stuff.
week. Lamont College is going to be our guest next week.
My
Okay,
man.
well, Bruce 101 will be there.
Yeah.
Tune in. See you next week.